When did your family realize you weren't the fragile one anymore? My hands shake when I order coffee and my voice cracks during normal conversations, but my family acts like I'm about to shatter into a million pieces at any moment. They've assigned themselves as my personal protection squad against the scary world, and honestly, it's getting ridiculous at this point. Growing up with severe anxiety in a family of extroverts meant everyone decided I was broken and needed constant supervision to function in society. My brother still orders for me at restaurants because he's convinced the waiter will somehow traumatize me if they ask what salad dressing I want. My sister texts me breathing exercises whenever she knows I have to leave my apartment, like I'm not a functioning adult who manages my own anxiety perfectly fine. During holiday dinners, my mother announces to everyone that loud noises upset me, so everyone needs to whisper. And last Thanksgiving, she made everyone eat with plastic utensils so the clinking wouldn't trigger what she calls my nervous episodes. The intervention they staged at my cousin's graduation party was beyond humiliating and pushed me past my breaking point. The entire extended family cornered me in my aunt's living room for what they called a love circle, where they took turns explaining how my anxiety was ruining my life. My aunt stood up first holding a church pamphlet and said, "Sweetie, we found you a nice quiet job filing papers where you won't have to talk to anyone because we know how scary people are for you." My uncle jumped in with, "And don't worry about the money because we're getting you an emotional support animal since you obviously can't handle basic daily tasks without having a breakdown." I tried to tell them that's not how emotional support animals work, but I wasn't allowed to speak because it wasn't my turn. My cousin pulled out her phone waving it at me saying, "Look at this article about adult daycare centers for people with severe social disorders, because that's exactly what you need since you're basically non-functional at this point." The whole time they spoke in those soft, careful voices people use with traumatized children while I sat there trying to explain that I was actually doing fine. Guys, I appreciate the concern, but I'm managing everything really well and my job is actually— But my brother cut me off, standing up with a printed PowerPoint presentation. "Stop being in denial because that's literally a symptom of your disorder, and we've already found several residential treatment facilities that specialize in severe anxiety cases like yours." He flipped through pages of quiet gardens and meditation rooms while my dad nodded along, adding, "We called your employer and told them you need extended mental health leave, so don't worry about rushing back to whatever little computer thing you do from home." My mom started crying saying, "I just want my baby to stop suffering because watching you try to pretend you're okay when you're clearly falling apart is killing me." That's when my other cousin burst through the front door carrying a hunting knife and screaming, "She's been sleeping with him for 6 months and they were laughing about what an idiot I am behind my back, so now everyone's going to pay for what they did to me." Everyone immediately froze as he waved the knife around wildly with tears streaming down his face while backing my elderly grandmother into a corner. My brother tried to say, "Just calm down," but my cousin pointed the blade at him screaming, "Shut your mouth or I'll shut it permanently." My family completely fell apart into useless panic with my sister dropping to the floor, sobbing, and my mom hyperventilating while my dad frantically fumbled with his phone, but his hands were shaking too hard to dial. My aunt pressed against the wall whimpering prayers while my uncle tried to hide behind the couch, even though he was twice my cousin's size. I stood up slowly, keeping my breathing steady and my voice level exactly the way I do every single day at work. "I can see you're in incredible pain right now, and that makes complete sense because betrayal from someone you love feels like death." His eyes darted to me still wild, but I saw that flicker of someone wanting to be heard. "She laughed at you, and that must have felt like she was ripping your worth as a human being right out of your chest." He screamed, "She said I was pathetic and that's why she found someone better." But the knife lowered slightly as I kept my hands visible and relaxed. "Those words cut deeper than any blade could, and you want her to understand how much she's destroyed you." I moved slowly between him and my grandmother using the same tone I used last week with a father threatening his family. "But you're not pathetic because someone else's cruelty doesn't define your worth, and her actions show everything about her character and nothing about yours." My family watched in stunned silence as his rage crumbled into sobs. "I loved her more than anything, and she threw me away like garbage." I responded, "That's her failure, not yours. Real love doesn't treat people as disposable." Within 12 minutes, he was sobbing in my arms while I carefully removed the knife and slid it across the floor. He looked up with red, swollen eyes and said, "Your voice sounds so familiar, like when someone talked me off the parking garage roof 2 years ago." My brother's PowerPoint about treatment centers was scattered on the floor while my family stood there speechless.